You should've never doubted me. I'ma work to my last breath. I'ma hustle to my last breath. Yeah. You should've never doubted me. The pain and the struggle followed me.
What's up? Welcome back. It's Deji Wesley here, Work Never Stops podcast. We have a special treat for you today. A sister from my heart. I love my Nigerian people. I'm Nigerian, so it's a special thing for me today to have Juliet Udeochu here, and to share with you guys what she's doing right now in her life and how she's changing the world and making the space a better space. So it's a pleasure to have you here today. Welcome to Work Never Stops podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for reaching out. This is exciting. Glad to have a conversation with you. It's crazy how things turn 360. Ty being my first friend in college, chatting right now. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So Julia went to school with my younger brother, and I always like to see like a smiling face, like people with really good energy. And I always, whenever I would see Juliet, I'd be passing by the school or maybe she stops by the house. She always had this great energy with her. And even after they graduated college, I always ask, how's Juliet doing? And so I would always hear great things that you're doing great things and, keep up with you on LinkedIn. And so I see what you're doing now, and I had to get you on the podcast so people could hear, be inspired and make some moves of their own. So what are you doing now?
What am I doing? I'm trying to I'm trying to make the world a better place, but make it dope at the same time. I've always had, before I could even knew what the word philanthropy was, I've always wanted to give back, help others, um, love seeing people smile. Growing up in just different levels of my life, from not knowing that I was poor, right? My
Mhm.
mom just made our surroundings so good that we didn't even notice that we lived in the hood and we were on food
Yeah,
stamp. From just
yeah.
moving up, I guess, just the different social, the SES schedule levels in my life,
Mhm.
and just knowing that, wow, there's so many people who have and there's so many people who don't have. So what can I do to make sure that I can do something to impact those who don't have, and how can I connect with those who have to help them give back, um, which kind of brought me to where I am today.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so Juliet is a co-founder of a organization called the Playbook Agency. Although I know she has a bunch of other things going on. I'm a big fan of social entrepreneurship, and I'm actually cool enough. I'm actually teaching a class right now on social entrepreneurship. Yeah, which is really cool. If you don't know, I'm at USC doing
Oh,
some,
dope.
yeah, finishing my MBA, but I got this crazy opportunity right now to teach this class. So really
Mhm.
awesome. but uh, but yeah, so when I heard about what you're doing, it struck a note with me for sure. So that's really cool that you're doing that, and you decided to leave your wonderful home of Southern California for Atlanta. How's that been going for you?
Atlanta, it's been great. I think I like to say I got my second win moving out here. I'm born and raised in LA. LA being all that I know. I travel a lot, but LA is home. And I
Yeah.
don't know what it was. 2016, I traveled so much for work. And I was gone every other month, and I'll turn a work trip into a vacation. And I found myself not in LA. And I was just like, I think I can finally move out of here. I wanted to go to Spelman, and my mom was like, no, we're all staying together. And I was like, there's really nothing holding me back from leaving LA. So me making this move to Atlanta has been great. I came and I was working for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I really had a chance to really amplify their organization. I came over and helped. I was the recruiter, and I was just like, well, that doesn't really make sense what I'm doing, because we're here trying to match these kids with mentors, but we're in Atlanta, the mecca of young Black professionals, but I don't see young Black men walking into this door. So I came in and figured out different events, different campaigns, different strategies to really get into the community, reach out to our target audience, which are the African American men or young men, because we had over 500 boys on a waiting list at a time. So most of these kids will come in as, 6, 7 years old, and some of them would age out at 15. So they're waiting on this list for a mentor. And I'm like, for this many years, we have all these brothers down here at Clark. So came in and really partnered up with every big company, every fraternity, sorority, male organization, and just really just hit the ground running. And I think that kind of amplified, and it was a little thing in my head like, okay, Juliet, as much as you keep saying you want to walk away from nonprofit, I think this is what you really need to be doing, right? Not only that, I came here and I saw so much disparity, right? To us, Compton and Watts is bad, right?
Yeah.
But you come here and you drive down Bankhead, you can go down blocks of abandoned homes. And it's not like it's Hurricane Katrina, like a hurricane came and waters came and flushed. No, these are homes that have been abandoned for years. These are communities that are a block away from the Mercedes-Benz stadiums, but nobody is touching it. These kids are living there and they don't know that they're a block away from Atlanta. So really coming in and just trying to change the program up. Felt good getting a lot of these kids mentors. I had a mentor. I actually had a big sister growing up in LA, and I was matched with my big sister at 7 years old, and we're still connected now.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know like firsthand.
Yeah. It's funny. I know a lot of people like that in LA that are like, of course they're, professionals now doing their thing, but Big Brother, Big Sister program in LA was pretty strong. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool that you were able to go down there and kind of find a space to operate. And I like what you said about at one point something clicked for you, and you're like, wait a minute, maybe this is where I need to be. I meet too many young people, and I've met too many parents who think that you can just go do something and eliminate the journey, so to speak. I've had parents ask me, hey, what do you think my kids should do so they don't have to kind of like go, and find themselves? And it's like, you have to put the work in, you had to put the time in, you have to, go out there and try things and figure out what suits you. And it sounds like you were actually doing that, and it spoke to you. We all have all these artists, rappers, or whoever that say, I didn't find X, I didn't find track, I didn't find rap, I didn't find whatever, it found me. And you got that moment. So yeah.
I've been trying to run away from it for years.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I got these skills, I have this talent, but I keep working nonprofit. I keep working in this space where I know if I go corporate, I could be doubling how much I make. I could be doubling my income, my network. But yet, like they say, like we have plans, but God has another plan for us.
Yeah.
And that's been the story of my life, basically.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing is that, God's plan might be, it's way bigger than what we can dream up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I had a consulting client last year, and she started a nonprofit. No, actually, she didn't start a nonprofit. And that was my thing with her, is that this does not need to be a for-profit, organization, right? That's just a tax designation, right? Like, it doesn't mean you can't make money. And she was just focused on, a nonprofit meaning you don't make money. And it's not that you make money. It's just the way that you file your taxes, and you use your money. So, there's a lot of people making some serious money from nonprofits. So, so it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being social entrepreneurs, and it's so funny because I've heard that term, but I didn't know much about it. And when I started with, like, what, that's so dope because I don't really meet any like young Black social entrepreneurs. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm just an entrepreneur. They was like, no.
No.
I was like, really? Oh, okay. All right. All
Yeah.
right.
And we're good. All right. Yeah.
All
So
right.
you were saying, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there's so many young um Black social entrepreneurs, and I think the cool part about being a Nigerian one, there's not that many Nigerians.
Yeah.
uh, who, and I think with me that's kind of been my struggle because you know I never aspired to be a doctor or a lawyer
Right.
or the typical Nigerian career. So finding my niche and really pushing my niche um, has been something that really makes me feel like I'm unique and different. And
Yeah.
actually, the reason why the book reached out to me because as they were putting the book together, they were like, someone saw me on LinkedIn. They was like, we don't have a part about people in the community or philanthropists. She really, when we had the conversation, I had to break down what I do and why it's important for what I do and how my goal is to go to Nigeria one day and do it. And that was the plans for last year before COVID hit.
Yeah.
So no, it's really cool to be amongst like so many young people, young adults, I guess, doing great and wanting to see this world a better place, especially for
Yeah.
our kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in that class that I'm teaching, there are quite a bit. And even just on campus, when I kind of started to become aware of this whole movement for social entrepreneurship, I started seeing all these um, eh, young Black women mostly. There's a few like brothers in there, of course, who won't get into the social dynamics of this,
Mhm.
but I started noticing, I'm like, where are these people coming from? Like, what's going what's going on here? That's different. And realize that I mean, literally, it's probably the hottest program right now at
Mm,
uh, at Marshall and USC.
okay.
So, um, yeah, it's a really, really booming industry. Just even like you said, like on LinkedIn, you'll see all these people. It's really crazy, but it's good to see. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool entrepreneurship going on out there. Um, yeah, so now I want to get to like the work never stops kind of part of the interview.
Yeah.
Talk to us about a time that you faced some adversity, but you had to decide, to keep pushing through and not settle.
Oh gosh, it's been a lot of times like that.
I
Um, I
bet.
I can say even just going back to in the process of kind of starting the Playbook agency while I'm still working for a nonprofit, right? So
Hmm.
it's that, is there any double dipping as far as the work that I'm doing out of work and the work that I was doing, at work?
Right.
Because I think the one thing that really pushed me to start the Playbook agency at the time, it was me and my other my partner, was that, like I said earlier, I'm here in Atlanta. I see disparity. I see so many kids who need help, more than mentoring, right? I know we're a mentoring organization, but I know there's so much that we can do. And it will be times when I will have conversation with, these kids who are flunking school, and they're flunking school because they're like, you know, my mom keeps having babies and hanging out, and I have to be the babysitter.
Uh,
Or if I don't eat at school, I'm not eating, right?
right.
Or they call me dirty, but we have no wash machine, or my parents aren't home to wash my clothes, or my parents don't have the money to wash my clothes. So I was just seeing all of this stuff, and I was like, there has to be more that we can do. And it's so hard to tell me, like, just do your job. And I'm like, well, our job is to make a difference in these kids' lives. So that was the struggle, right? Of kind of feeling resentment that we're doing this, we're here, but we can do more. And I know that I can do more, but it's like, all right, if you're going to be doing this, we want to make sure you're not working with our families. We're not, and all this stuff. So, and plus, I never wanted to step on anyone's toes.
Mhm.
So, in the beginning, I really downplayed and didn't push the Playbook agency as I should have. I felt like I could have done more work in the beginning, but
Mhm.
I was in that really weird gray area of, do I go hard for this job that I or this company that I'm starting and risk my job, my 9 to 5, right? That is
Yeah.
paying me.
Right.
Um, but do I follow my passion and the reason why I'm even doing this work that I'm doing? I want to make this world a better place. I want to give back. I see these kids, they're talking to me. I'm going into these communities. So it was a really big tug of war,
Mhm.
emotionally, mentally, at work, because I knew we can do more, but I couldn't do more because of work. And I
Right.
had to realize, like, all right, I'm a risk taker anyway. I, I got in trouble when I was a kid. I didn't listen when I was a kid, and I still got things done. So I had to kind of go back into that kind of no fear thing. I was allowing fear to dictate my action. I was allowing fear to push back my passion, and um, just fear, period. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay. If something happens, that you can always get a job, you can always have something to fall back on, but the reason why you're here. And I have to just go full throttle. Like, hey,
Right.
this is what I'm doing. And I got our first client, and the first client was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
So that
Wow.
fear ended up being that motivation,
Mhm.
to push me
Yeah.
to want to go hard in the work that I was doing.
Now that's awesome that you got confirmation, through that client. They
Mhm,
had no idea. You got confirmation that you know what, you're going the right way.
mhm,
A lot of people are they want to do something and they're going through that same thing, that same
mhm,
question of like, is this the right thing to do? And when it comes to your passion, it's always the right thing to do.
mhm,
So and then just one day that time will come where you have to decide, it's a time for me to move on. And it comes for us all, if we dare to make that that
mhm.
declaration that we want to do something for ourselves, so to speak.
Do it.
um yeah, you got to do it. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be like, some people think it's like from day one you have to decide, you have to go like, okay, I'm quitting my job and I'm jumping off the cliff, so to speak, and it doesn't always have to be that. you know
mhm.
some people.
I felt like it was that as well. Like,
Yeah.
is it, I have to do that because I didn't want, because I loved the people I was working with, and I didn't want to seem like I was doing anything shady or anything like that. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna quit, and I'm happy I did it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Happy, you don't have the good angel, the bad angel.
Yeah.
Uh, a good angel was like, oh, chill out,
Hang
Juliet.
on, hang on.
Just
Yeah.
relax, take it easy. So I'm happy I was able to still, I mean, I'm still building at this time, but I'm happy I didn't, like you said, jump off the cliff during that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. But cool though. Glad to see where you're at right now, and looking forward to see where this is going. And I'll see you've adapted to COVID, with the things that you're doing with that summit you just had. Um, that's important, obviously, in entrepreneurship. You got to keep adapting. So if you don't mind, tell the people kind of like, some things you've done to adapt to COVID.
I think the number one word that I have learned during COVID is just being fluid. Is You have to be fluid. You have to learn how to pivot. I mean, I'm a basketball player. I love sports, and that word, you always have to learn how to keep that one foot down, but
Yeah.
still move around on the court and don't lose yourself. So that's what I think about, like, pivoting and like being fluid. Like, so many things happened in 2020 in my life that could have knocked me off, right? But I had to realize, like, all right, this would not last forever. Yes, it's 2021 and we're still in it, but what can I do to to pivot, basically,
Yeah.
right? I'm not going to sit here and cry over spilled milk. And throughout everything else going on, I was laid off like a lot of people in 2020. And I was happy that in the process of being laid off, that held my gun with the Playbook agency and really tried
Yeah.
to write it out with the client. But even with that, we had a whole year
Yeah.
calendar of things to do in the
Yeah.
community, and we had to shut it down. But I was like, we're gonna try to figure it out to do something. Because I think the great part is when you work with somebody who really wants to give back, who's what do they say, boots to the
Pussy. Yeah.
ground.
To the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, and just wants to go, and that's Sheldon Williams. So
Yeah.
with that, everything that we planned for 2020 was canceled except our toy drive. He
Yeah.
was like, hey, I'm noticing, people doing these drive-through events. Is it
Hmm.
possible that we can do it and make it safe for COVID? I was like, yeah, I think we can get that going. We partnered up with the mayor within the city here in Atlanta and the
Nice.
councilwoman. We
Yeah.
partnered up with
Whoa.
the fire and rescue,
Hmm.
and we were able to raise and get enough donation for toys to give to over 100 families, not 100 kids,
Wow.
but 100 families who are living in lodges
Yeah.
and motels. So
Yeah.
think about it, these are kids who are stuck in these rooms all day because they're not
Hmm.
homes, they're rooms all day. A lot of these rooms don't have a refrigerator. A lot of these rooms don't have, it's if you go to a
Yeah.
motel, that's basically what it is. So we wanted to give back because these are the people who are really hurting during this time.
Hmm.
So we had toys donation. Our client Sheldon, he bought over $1,000 worth of toys. Um, we had people donate shoes, socks,
Hmm.
backpacks, jackets, and really allow these kids to come and, hey, this is your Christmas. We want to make sure we're putting a smile on your face. For
Yeah.
parents, yes, we know it's hard for you, but we're here to help. And I think that was the one of the biggest highlights of last year in
Yeah.
the midst of everything, is seeing the faces of those kids, those parents, those grandparents. Um, and we went to four or five different locations. We had the fire trucks, fill it up with toys, the different trucks, play
Yeah.
the Christmas music, and we drove around all morning to these different motels
Nice.
and lodges and had
Yeah.
the families come out to pick out the toys, which was just in the midst of everything a great way to end 2020.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I've done some outreach and stuff like this, and it's awesome when you see the look on these kids' faces. I can just imagine as you're telling me this, like,
Yeah,
it has, that's a fulfillment in itself. So,
yeah.
yeah.
It was our client Sheldon. He did a podcast about a week or two ago for MLK because we did something for Service Day, and
Mhm.
they asked him like, "What is your motivation? What is the best part of you doing what you're doing through your foundation?" And he said, "Seeing the smiles on the kids' faces.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
So,
other feeling than seeing the kids just say, what do you want for Christmas?" They're like, Paw Patrol, you got
yeah,
that? Yep.
yeah.
Basketball, jacket.
Boom.
And it's like, wow, you
Yep.
guys have
Yep.
everything I'm asking for. You guys are really, you're a what,
Yeah.
7-foot Santa Claus coming
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So no, I
Yeah.
mean, that's it. And then we did a service day, partnered up with a councilwoman here in Atlanta as well. And we cleaned up the community, woke up
Okay.
early in the morning and with a lot of volunteers, different city leaders, and we went and cleaned up the community. And I think that's important, right? That
Yeah.
you appreciate something when it's nice
Hmm.
around you. So we did that. And then we had the youth summit on Saturday just passed, which was much needed. I know we have the Revolt Summit, the AC3. There's so many events for adults, but we're forgetting about the kids who are,
Uh,
who thrive
yeah.
off personal interactions, thrive off their friends, and they're at home for over a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. It's, uh,
yeah,
it's
it was
crazy.
But it was a
Yeah.
good event. We had some great speakers, subject matter experts. We had about 35 kids. This was the first of many events that we
Mhm.
expected to grow. And it was just really good to a lot of the questions that they had, because these are kids who play sports or just,
Yeah,
students
just
in
want to
junior
get back
high and
out
high
there. Yeah.
school. Huh? They're excited
Yeah.
to get out there, and it was just really good to create a safe space for them to talk
Mhm.
and talk to
Yeah.
adults and get a lot of their questions answered. So it was great.
Yeah, I know the feeling. My boxing gym closed back home, in LA, and I'm still itching to like, I mean, I've been boxing here a little bit, but it's like I know what it's like. Just think it's taken away from you. I can imagine for
Yeah,
kids. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, when I think about myself, like I was never big on school. I
Mhm.
know I had certain subjects that I loved, but like no, it was just never really big on school. But I was
Uh,
big on my friends, like
Yeah. Entrepreneurs are
friends and
never.
huh?
I said entrepreneurs are never big on school.
Right.
One
That's why I
one thing
decided
that I
to figure out a new route.
one common thread that I've that I see is never about that. 'Cause,
No, it's more about
so
the interactions we have at school and the
yeah,
relationships formed at school. Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm thinking if I was in school right now, oh my goodness, I would go
Yeah.
crazy. I would like not seeing my friends with even now, like
Uh,
not seeing friends has been family has been tough. So
mhm.
imagine what these kids and these youth are going through. So we just really want to do that with um the virtual event on Saturday. And like I said, there's more to come this year.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, because you kind of got into it a little bit, but so you're at a great place right now, I think. And so where do you think what are you looking at, kind of moving forward? Like what are some of your goals that you want to accomplish?
Signing more clients,
Okay.
um, really getting out there. We just signed to be um, like a consultant through the NBA, their NBPA, to
Okay.
basically help
Mm-hmm.
um, players in the league, retired players, if they
Mm-hmm.
decide that they want to give back or create a foundation or do an
Great.
event, the Playbook agency we can be
Yeah.
that person to help them
Great.
create that event.
Yeah.
Um, and just really do more. My goal is to go to Nigeria and do
Hmm.
something.
Yeah.
Um, a few years ago, we went back throughout that whole year. Me and my cousin, we collected toys, shoes, sanitary napkins,
Hmm.
backpacks, everything throughout the whole year. And we put it in a large container and took it to Nigeria. And then we went to an orphanage in
Yeah.
Nigeria. We had a full day of painting, giving
Yeah.
playing dress up with the
Okay.
kids, talking to the kids, and it was so great because when people typically go back home, they go home to party and see other
Right.
family.
Yeah.
But we decided to take a pause on that and devote that day to kids in need in Nigeria. So my goal is to go back and do something like that. Um, to
Okay.
help create a
Yeah.
basketball court or things
Yeah.
like that
Something
in
like this.
schools in
Yeah.
in Nigeria, work with players, Nigerian players in LA,
Okay.
I mean in America, to go
Yeah.
back home, even African players to go back and create basketball camps, clinics,
Yeah.
courts, to give back to you the youth out there.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's something that's important to me as well. Like I went back for a significant amount of time for about a year, and
Mhm.
I taught at my sister has a school there,
Okay.
and so I was able to teach there and kind of have this really cool experience with the kids. But it's always been on my heart to. I started this nonprofit a few years ago called Project Motherland,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, but I ended up kind of folding over after a couple of years, but it's still something that I want to do. I think it's really important to make that connection,
Mhm.
and get people here, African Americans here, who don't have that connection, to give them the ability to give something back, to really make the connection, through these kind of activities. So
Yep.
yeah, so if there's something we can do later on, I'd love to work with you on that.
Well, well,
Really great cause. I love it. So if people want to get involved with you, how can they help support?
oh, okay. Well, if you are an athlete or influencer, and you're looking for someone to manage your foundation, or you think about creating any type of events and you need someone to help you manage that, you can reach out to the Playbook agency for sure. If you just want to donate and give back or just want to learn more about what we're doing, yes, I'm located in Atlanta, but I am not afraid to hop on a plane and go to your city and help you to create
Yeah.
whatever philanthropic activity that you're trying to do, or if you're just thinking about wanting to give back or just learn more. I think the one thing is that people want to give back, but they don't know how to, or they
Yeah.
think they have to give like an enormous amount of money. Sometimes people just want time, right?
Yeah.
I can help you figure out, local organizations that you can volunteer with in your city that won't cost you a dime. And I that's why I say I want to make giving back dope, because I don't want it to be. A lot of times people get so nervous when it comes to nonprofit and philanthropy, because they're like, I don't know what to do, or how much money do I have to give, which scares them. Sometimes it's just your time, right?
Yeah.
Just showing up and reading a book to a kid virtually. You can read books to kids virtually. So I can go on for days on how you can
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
back. You could, reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Juliet Udeochu, which is Udeochu. You can, check out our website, theplaybookagents.com, or you can, find us on Instagram at the Playbook Agency, at Instagram or at Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have all your links and everything up here. So awesome. Great. Glad you could join. Really enjoyed this conversation. And yeah, I'd love to do it again another time.
Yeah, yeah. And I hope you enjoy, your time out there. And hopefully one day we'll be able to get together and have this conversation, face to face. Do
Yeah.
something soon. It'll be great to go back home, and to do something to, even help you start back up your nonprofit, or creating it, turn
Mhm.
into a foundation,
Right.
which is easier at times, but we can talk about that offline.
Cool, cool, for sure. Awesome. Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining Work Never Stops podcast. Once again, Juliet, great podcast. Look her up. Definitely hit her up on LinkedIn if you want to know how you can be more involved, or if you have any questions about, about what she's doing. And we'll see you guys next time. Work never stops. Neither should you. I'll see you when I see you.